How's it going? Zach here from Stable Minded. We're doing Stable Spotlight with Pietro from Shift4. Pietro, it's great to have you on. It's great to have such a a prominent name, just in not even just in crypto payments, just in Tradfi payments. I mean, we don't get to talk too much on this side, so I'm very excited to sit down with you. Thanks for coming on.
No, thanks so much for having me. Honestly, this is a great event to get, I think, a lot of the creative minds in fintech and payments put together with the crypto folks out here. I think we're seeing this trend of stablecoins really bleeding into fintech, and now people don't even think about, should I have a strategy? It's really, what is our strategy going to be? I've heard a lot of those similar conversations around this. This has been a great forum to explore and meet like-minded folks.
So what's your strategy? How do you rip off that Band-Aid with those fintech guys? Because Shift4 has been in payments forever. Like, how do you approach your customer and be like, hey, we're doing this new thing. It has to do with crypto, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think we were fortunate to crawl, walk, and then run in that approach. So to answer your question, Shift4 has been around 26 years. We're a public company. A lot of folks think of us as like, hey, I checked into my hotel, or I paid for a meal at a restaurant. Like, I used a terminal for Shift4, or I saw them on the the checkout of my e-commerce flow. So as far as crypto is concerned, we were very lucky in the sense that we acquired a company called The Giving Block a couple years ago, 3 years ago. And that's where I was on the team there. We were really focused on the nonprofit sector and being an off-ramp for nonprofits.
Which is huge.
It's definitely huge. And but it informed a lot of the strategies. So to answer your question, we think of it as like three distinct things that we can assist our customers with. One, just be a payment processor that's friendly to crypto. We've talked probably ad nauseum in the industry about how the banking sector has not been super supportive in the past couple of years. And like, how do you find vendors and infrastructure providers that are going to build with you for the long term? We've tried to position ourselves as saying we want to be a payments partner for crypto-related companies for a long time. And then the other piece of it is, how do we bring the traditional merchant categories that we service, the hotels, the restaurants, the stadiums of the world, how do you accept crypto and make crypto payments more of a thing? That's been a really exciting journey that we're really kicking off in earnest with our Pay with Crypto product. So the long and short of it is, we really see the benefits of the technology. I mean, stablecoins are a huge portion of that, but then we also see huge demand from the general market saying we want to pay with crypto because we hold this asset.
Right.
And how do we do that? We just want to be in that conversation.
I mean, especially as a U.S.-based consumer, I've gone through, I remember seeing one of your guys' announcements a few months ago. The same week, I go to a place, I see a Shift4 terminal, and I'm like, can I pay with stablecoins? And I was like, oh, no, we're not there yet. But so talk me through, like, what's that journey been like? What path are you guys on right now? Like, where are you seeing a good fit for stablecoin payments right now? Or crypto in general, I guess we should say.
Yeah, I mean, let's start with stablecoins, because I think that's primarily like architecture plus like business optimization. Like, stablecoins can be one, like the form factor by which you pay a merchant, which is really exciting in its own right. It's very analogous to like just paying with your debit card or credit card. It's just a crypto dollar. But there's a lot of things about stablecoins that we recognize even with our current clients. So perfect example, we work with a company called CoinFlow Labs. They work with crypto merchants and actually settle to them in stablecoins, which really helps them turn over their working capital, for example, or helps them move cross-border very frictionlessly. You may have heard the term, I'm sure you're familiar, like stablecoin sandwich, right? There's fiat on both sides, like that's the bread, but the middle is stablecoins. And you also have companies like Bridge, for example, that are doing this for a huge clientele. And they just got acquired by Stripe, right? So the proof is in the pudding that there's value in optimizing settlement rails, getting to more challenging corridors all over the world for payments, where traditional banking rails or local payment methods just aren't quite cutting it.
Yeah.
But then you broaden the aperture. You say, okay, why can't every merchant in the country accept crypto, or every merchant in the world, right? Like, theoretically, crypto is a payment method that services the entire globe. That's pretty, it's not like something you can underestimate, let's just say, because if you're a company in Southeast Asia or in LATAM or some of these places, like, stablecoins are probably the cheapest, fastest, and most obvious low-lift way to get a global audience or tap into a cohort of people that you otherwise couldn't. And so we recognize that trend as being something that's only going to increase in pace.
Has there been any like vertical or clients that have come your way that have really shocked you? That like you maybe at first you were like, no, we're never going to serve this one, and the next thing you know, they come and it's a perfect fit.
Yeah, I mean, like, to speak completely honestly with you, there's a lot of early adopters that are typically in more like high risk categories where they're underbanked or underserved from the traditional sector. So those weren't maybe as surprising. The ones that are really surprising to me, and we actually announced at Money 2020 last year, I think the announcement you alluded to. So like Tao Group, for example, for anybody who's been to a restaurant, has been like really keen to support this in their locations. They have one in Vegas. They have a lot of folks that are like, we want to book bottle service or a night out with crypto, which that's more the novelty side of payments. It's like really, cool, flashy. I'd say the other stuff that's really surprising to me though is like mom and pops or like small e-commerce brands that are saying like, we know there's an appetite for folks that want to pay us from all over the world.
Yeah.
We just got to tap into that. And it's really hard to find partners that want to support you for $10,000 a month in a country you're not in terms of payments. So we think that's going to be a really nice accelerant to like balance out the like novelty high-end like retailers and then sort of low risk.
Well, it's interesting. I think we saw this trend even in like traditional payments where there was people coming out, there's fintech solutions where based on your geography, you could accept local fiat. And it's like, why would you not turn that on for crypto as well? I mean, especially when you have such deep infrastructure. Like how many merchants right now are on Shift4?
I don't have that number. It's in the hundreds of thousands.
It's in a lot.
It's pretty big. I think your point's really well taken, though. Like you want to think about making it a really seamless experience for the merchant because let's say you run a diner or a restaurant or a coffee shop in a country where you're just worried about keeping the lights on and making your business happen on a day-to-day. You're not going to say, I need to be a payments expert. You just want a really simple solution that's abstracted away all the difficulty and complexity of like, do I have to manage my own wallet? Do I have to do all these things? That is where I think we're at a tipping point with the infrastructure and all the sort of players in the ecosystem now being ready to deliver that at a global scale.
I mean, it's interesting. Even in the U.S., I'll go to places, and if they say they accept cash only, I'm gone. You know, what happens now if I'm traveling globally, and my only option is to pay in stablecoins? To your point, I can't work with that merchant.
And how often do you get hit for international exchange fees and all these other things, right? I mean, when you think about it, there's quite a lot of payments flow that could be optimized or made cheaper. And that ultimately just goes back to making the merchant experience better. I think that's ultimately what we care the most about. We want to, surprise and delight customers who want to spend their crypto, but we also want to just say, hey, you're running a business, you keep focusing on that. We're just going to give you as many shots on goal to accept more types of payments, and we think crypto is going to be one of the bigger winners in that.
I love that. Give him more shots on goal.
A sports analogy is always fun.
No,
right?
Analogies are the best thing to get people into understanding stablecoins, I think. One thing you said there's been some key players in your journey. Who have those been for Shift4?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the crypto side of the house, I mean, we definitely have fantastic partners. We work with Mesh. Huge shout out to them in terms of their sort of open banking. They call themselves the Plaid for crypto, which I think is a more payments guy. Actually makes a lot of sense. I think connectivity, making the user journey easier, the user experience and interface needs to be clean, right? Because fintech apps are super, super mature in the sense that use Venmo or PayPal or any of these things. That's the experience you need to hold yourself accountable to, not take 20, minutes to check out with crypto because you're copying, pasting, and all those things. I'd say Bridge is great. We really appreciate the work that they've done, and also, congratulate them on their acquisition from Stripe. But there's a number of candidates along the way, probably a list too long. Gemini's been a great partner for the Giving Block, for example. And, ultimately, we're really excited about the companies that we work with, both for pay with crypto, but then also on the traditional payment side, where we're the acquirer behind somebody doing something exciting like a coin flow, for example. Right. I think they're really pioneering a lot of these use cases, and they're entering industries where they otherwise really wouldn't have the right to win unless they had a differentiated product. And I see that every day being more and more compelling, which is exciting.
That's awesome. So I guess the last thing I want to ask, and this, do you feel out of place here at ETH Denver, being the guy at Shift4? I know you come from the Giving Block, but people see your logo and they're like, what's this guy doing here? I want to go talk to some DGens.
I'll tell you what, I didn't wear a suit, and that was intentional. I don't think I ever really have, but I would say no, I feel very much at home here. This has been my passion, and the Shift4 crypto vertical comes with a lot of crypto native talent that we're very lucky to have. I've been a crypto guy for a long time, so this is really just
it's one of the best of both worlds.
Feels like coming home. I have the support of a really great company that has a lot of resourcing and willingness and appetite to take on this risk of of entering something new and trying something different. But no, these are my people. I'm here
I love
to
that.
keep pioneering. I love the builders and excited to be here.
It's nice. Like I said, I think stablecoins kind of gets the best of both worlds. You have fun like crypto, but you also get the TAM that you have with Tradfi.
It's like business in front with a little party in the back. Like it's a good mix for sure.
Absolutely. Last thing, any hot takes going into this year and the rest of this year, 2026?
Yeah, I'm going to try.
Anything you're a contrarian on?
Anything I'm a contrarian on. I actually think, I'll give you one, and this is something that maybe is maybe obvious when you think about it, but I think it's a bit of a hot take. I think the most interesting thing for crypto payments adoption is actually going to be with the issuing side of the business, meaning the like hardware that's distributed through all like the coffee shop we're in or the hotels, right? Like it's very difficult to get a crypto wallet to interact with that. But if you issue a card based on crypto collateral and you could tap to pay and create the same experience, I think that's how you get 1 billion people using crypto rails and stable coins to pay for stuff. And I think that's where we're going to go.
There's some really exciting players. Check out season 2 of Stable Minded. We had Cass, we had Stables on. They're both doing some awesome things. I actually even have, I don't have my wallet on me. I have my Cass card on me. So that's a quick shout out there
sure.
from my end. But man, Pietro, this was awesome. We could probably talk for 2 hours. But man, thanks for coming by the Stable House. And
Pleasure's
thanks for coming
all
on
mine.
Stable Spotlight. See you guys later.
Thanks.